Well, hello there, and welcome back to Late Nights with Lady Mac, the Sticky Unstuck podcast. And now we're going to have a real podcast. I'm going to tell you that those first ones didn't count. Of course they counted. God, I'm just getting the sticky off me. Feeling how to get unstuck from me. From being on camera and being vulnerable and sharing my shit. And before somebody's like, girl, you've been sharing your shit for a long time. Yeah, but no. No, I'm a scared baby. And I've had some conversations with some friends. Not Linda, she didn't say shit. I've had some conversations with some friends lately that have reminded me that we're always going to be fucking scared babies and we can't let fear drive the bus. Anyway, first I'd like to introduce y'all to my co-host. For those of you listening in podcast format, you're not missing anything because Linda's a blow-up doll and she's not going to say shit because she's a scared baby, which just reiterates my point of this podcast. But it's okay. She's a sweetheart. I like her anyway. For those of you watching in a video format, you'll probably recognize Linda from the brief appearance she made on my YouTube channel before we both got in trouble. That you got me in trouble, Linda. See, I created an adult sex game. And I've never really been really confident about it. So I promoted it a little bit and forgot about it. Made a little fun video of Linda and I playing it on my YouTube channel and got rid of it. It did actually get me a demonetization. So, there's that. But I'm going to tell you guys, I've been scared and stuck and letting fear drive the bus and letting my feelings take control my whole fucking life. And, it's all fine and dandy and cool to admit that at 40 years old, but then when you admit that at 40 years old, or at any time in your life, at any time, it's kind of interesting to look back at all the things that you just never got to experience, do, have, say, or just to find out what it would be like because you let your scared little baby self and all your sad little feelings drive the fucking bus. Okay? And I have heard, and we've all heard 100 times over, that you feel the fear and you do it anyway. And okay, cool. But I think that sometimes we forget that we have to feel the fucking fear. As my girlfriend said, being ready is not a feeling, it's a choice. And we just do it when we don't feel it. And oh man. Oh man. I have wanted to do a lot of things with my Lady Mac business and with this trajectory for so long that I have sat on and been so scared of that I just haven't done it. I have gone through tremendous cycles of entrepreneurship burnout, life burnout, creativity burnout, because I focus so much on the things that are within my comfort zone and within my realm of not fear. And I just don't push myself to do a lot of the things that scare me when I am stuck. Not saying things that are on my mind, not taking that choice, not making that decision, not starting that thing, stopping that thing. When I'm really honest with myself, a lot of the things that I have pushed myself for, even if they didn't work out, have been the best fucking decisions of my life. Now, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just going to take a second to say I'm waving you all over the place. You're not set and secured on my chest today. I'm holding the mic. I'm here for the real podcast now. The first couple of podcasts you guys got were me sort of testing the water. I've been on podcasts, yeah, but they're not my podcast. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, And I was I got scared. I was like, what if I start my first podcast and I talk for an hour and a half about 800 fucking things and they're all over the map and nobody wants to listen and la 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 la. Carissa, shut the fuck up. With love. With love. So I was honest and sat down and I thought about where I wanted the podcast to go and what I wanted to do. And I liked that I started it the way I started it, with a handful of short episodes that sort of give you guys a little bit about who I am and what I've been through and why I'm doing this. But now we're just getting into the welcome to my messy fucking life. Now we're going to do what I want to do, all right? Because while pushing myself has, yes, given me some of the best decisions and the best things I've done with my life, even if they didn't work out, even if like I didn't want to do that, like pushing myself and doing the thing is so fucking satisfying. And like really, we got one life, guys. Like, don't sit on that shit, right? But on that same note, there are a lot of things, and this is not a regret, but there are so many things that when I look back on, I'm like, wow, I didn't do that because I let fear ride the bus. I didn't do that because I was a scared baby. And literally everything that I have wanted to do for the last 8 years with this Lady Mac and this sexual education and this online content that I'm building, all of this, there's something more to this that I have desperately wanted to explore, and I have held myself back. Making some big decisions over the last few months, not just leaping into the podcast, but leaping into a lot of things in my life, have really helped me see that this chapter of my life is about doing all of those things that I stop myself when fear drives the bus. It's holding myself accountable and keeping myself consistent and focused and doing it as a scared fucking baby. Wow, I've said fuck a lot in this. Linda, watch your language. So let me back it up for you, all right? Let me just explain what I mean here. When I wrote my first erotica book and I started putting out all things of a sexual education nature, started going live, started doing things online, and started sort of sharing that little bit of what I had to share, I was fired up. Like, that lit something up inside of me. I had these really big dreams. So if you have been following me on Facebook long enough, you'll know that I used to do the late night with Lady Mac before somebody put guidelines on us all, told us what we couldn't say online. I got to be mindful of what I say on my YouTube channel. That I get in trouble all the time. I get spanked from the social media gods, striked. But I used to go live and I would talk about sexual education and all these fun things. And I talked about this briefly before, but I really thought and wanted and dreamed of doing something really cool with that. Like really honing in my public speaking skills and how I engage with an audience and really putting stuff out there and growing it like some kind of like Sue Johansson, you know, like sexual education kind of thing. I really had this, oh man, but guess what? I'm a scared baby. What you guys might not know is that this is terrifying for me. Okay? All of the public speaking that I have done, every single time I go live, every time I make content, there's a filter and a feeling that runs the bus because I'm just too scared baby to be me. Not right now. What you're getting right now is unfiltered, uncut, raw, and we're here. Let's be fucking vulnerable. Okay? I ran a bunch of like direct sales businesses over the years and online team building and any kind of business that I did that I had to do content or film for. What you wouldn't know is that I would spend hours of my fucking life hidden in a back bedroom, recording, watching, picking myself apart, deleting, recording, watching, picking myself apart, and deleting. I don't have a lot of confidence in who I am as like a storyteller or an entertainer or somebody who even just creates and talks to you, which sounds funny as somebody who does a whole lot of public speaking and writes stories. But that lack of confidence doesn't mean I can't do it. It just stops me because I will second guess myself all of the time. Okay? Like, every single time I would start to share something, have an idea, have a dream, have a passion, I would second guess myself. And we all do this, okay? Well, okay, maybe some of you are fucking perfect, but most of us do this, all right? I'm not sharing some secret or sharing something that most of us don't go through, but maybe we don't talk about how like hard we can really be on ourselves and how much that stops us from doing the things that we want. Like, I would put an educational piece together and then I would be like, somebody's got more knowledge than me. It's probably you, Linda. I mean, you've seen some things. I would put something together for like a toy per se, right? And then I would be like, well, somebody's gonna think this. Yeah. I would second guess everything, okay? Picking myself apart in all of those ways, well, one, it just destroys my self-confidence and it destroys my ability to continue to put stuff out there. But like, it stops me from doing that. And so this time when I'm going through this really shitty ass cycle in my life that I seem to fucking go through like clockwork, where I get overwhelmed and exhausted and I'm feeling depressed and I'm feeling burnt out. In the past, I've just either pushed through it or been gentle and given myself enough grace to go that I need a break. And I take like a week. One year I took a whole month off social media and I wasn't writing and I wasn't really healing. Like, I watched a lot of shitty movies and read a few books. And like, yeah, it was nice and it was healing in a sense, but not healing what's causing me to go through this cycle. It was just healing that temporary burnout. So this time I was like, no, it's time to get down to the root of all of this. And the root of it really was that I'm pushing and pushing and pushing myself into all of these avenues that are within my comfort zone, don't scare me, don't fill me, not that they don't scare me or fill me with fear, but they're not so much that I have to like feel like I'm busting through a fucking glacier wall and then, just to try to do the thing, right? I sit in that comfort and then I put all of that stuff aside. And I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to shed that shell of, you can't shed the shell of being scared and being a baby and fearful of the next step and stepping out of the comfort zone. But I want to shed the shell that keeps me in place, okay? If you're following along. Yes, somebody could do it better than me. Yes, somebody has more education. Yes, somebody has better equipment. Yeah, somebody has, Linda's better at so many things than me. Sure, maybe 10 people are going to listen to this. Sure, maybe somebody's going to think it's stupid. Linda thinks it's stupid. For those of you that can't see me, Linda just, for some reason, took a dive bomb into the background and she's going to stay there. So, I wanted to do the late night with Lady Mac. And every time something would come up, or anytime it would grow a little, or anytime something would happen that would cause me to actually have to take a different avenue, like when I started getting in trouble for, I could have pivoted at any point to a podcast, pivoted to my own like video channel. There's a lot of avenues I could have taken to continue with what I wanted to do back then, but I didn't take them because as soon as that roadblock would come up, I would be like, no, I'm a scared baby. Like I can't do this, right? So this chapter of my life, I'm talking so much with my hands, poor YouTube. This chapter of my life is a demand for myself to hold myself accountable, to stay fucking focused when I feel like a scared baby and do it anyway. Okay? And I feel really good to say that. What stopped me from making a podcast for the last few years really was like scared to do this, scared to talk vulnerably, scared to take that filter off, because I know that once I start talking, I see this happen a lot on my YouTube channel. I make a script for my YouTube and then I go off script. And then I start sharing the pieces of myself that are almost screaming out for more, that are like, hey, there's a scared child in here that wants to do, I gotta stop referring to myself as a child and a scared baby, but it's true, you know? Like there's a scared version of me in here that wants to do more, that wants to public speak, that wants to share more, that wants to figure out how to not get around the guidelines, but find new ways to share my material, to promote my stuff, to explore what I'm doing, right? So I appeared on a handful of podcasts, but never started mine because I was scared. When I started getting in trouble on Facebook, I never really pursued another avenue and never really picked back up with the late nights with Lady Mac. Gave myself 101 excuses. All my internet sucks. And it does. I go live on TikTok now and I stream gamer stuff, and sometimes my internet sucks. Nobody cares. I will delete stuff I'm really proud of. I will be scared to put it out there because judgment. And that's stopped me from sharing a lot of material and a lot of things that I really wanted to, you know? So I had a little script for this today. And it was just a couple of notes, which I have looked down to a handful of times. It was to make a bunch of jokes mostly about how Linda's too scared to open her mouth and say anything. And a big reason why I brought her on is because when I created my sex game, I had big dreams of promoting it. I wanted to go and continue to be a sexual educator. I wanted to go to sex shows. And so I did this video and I thought it was stupid. I didn't think it was stupid. I was afraid other people would think it was stupid, right? I didn't want anyone to see it. So I deleted it. As soon as YouTube was like, that's an adult doll and that is an 18 plus thing, I was like, okay, right? Facebook gives me a ban the other year because some local, man, the things I could tell you as far as like dating and single life, that warrants a whole series. But somebody in my local community, a working professional male that's married and had no business, hopped in my inbox and made a bunch of really inappropriate comments. Not like even, I was talking on Facebook about how I had a dislocated rib, two, I think at the time, and I was physically injured from some things and I couldn't get my driveway shoveled because we had just had one of those really thick, icy, like block you in your driveway moments. And I posted something looking for help. I specifically either needed a snowblower or a plow or somebody with a lot of muscle. And I hopped in my inbox and said some really gross things about me, how I should stand at the end of my driveway and like take my top off and flag people down. And like before somebody's like, oh, that doesn't sound that bad, you should hear the things I've heard he said to others. Like, and unprovoked, like, I do not know this man. He is married. Like, I screenshotted the message and then YouTube or Facebook flagged me for sexual, asking for sexual services or something. Got a ban over that. And that was at the same time that I was starting to blog, and I was doing these things like how to not online date or how to not date, and thought about putting some people on blast. When I mean putting people on blast, I mean like, we've never spoke, we've never had a connection. You come to me unprovoked and you are you sound violent, angry, like, and we're not talking about unsolicited dick pics here. That's not even the cusp of what I'm talking about. I had a maintenance person come into my house and take pictures of himself from my basement while my leg was broken. And then tell me I was helpless and couldn't defend myself. I got stories for days. Never shared any of these kind of things. I was always scared. A lot of my online persona and content helps pay my bills, right? A lot of my freelance stuff and contract stuff, people might not hire me if I'm like an unhinged, crazy sexual content creator. I'm not a sexual content creator. Wow, that came out really wrong. Started reading my erotica online. I thought that was so much fun. I actually made an OF page for it. I had a Patreon for a while. I got so much judgment, so much slack. I was like, I look like this, kind of cute. Sometimes I paint my lips red. Oh, you can't see me in podcast form. I'm wearing a pink shirt and a black choker, and I got a little makeup on. One time I wore fishnets, but you can only see like from my knees to my feet. I was probably playing in a little bit at that point, being honest. It wasn't what people thought it was though, and I had fun. And then I got in trouble, and then there was judgment, so I took it all back, and I didn't put that out there. I'm just sharing everything with you right now. Yeah, really scared to be the like sexual Lady Mac that I always wanted to be. Really scared to share some of my struggles, you know, how hard it has really been, all of the crap that I've been through, some my own choices, some not. And so many things in my life could have been different. Look at me, I'm feeling fantastic and happy. But if we're being honest, so many things in my life could have been different and would have led me in a different path and would have made things so much. I would have been able to chase a lot more dreams and accomplish a lot more things if I'd stopped letting my scared, fearful self ride the bus. And I don't want to do that anymore. And that was something I really sat with when I started outlining where I wanted this podcast to go, right? It's not just me whining on camera because I'm stuck in my life and I don't know what I want to do. There was a depth to that. I know a lot of people that have some incredible stories to share that will help a lot of people find passion, find creativity, find themselves, love themselves, find out what kind of fearful baby is running the bus in their life and learning to sit with it and do it anyway. You know, that old cliche saying right from the beginning, you feel the fear and you do it anyway. But I'm a scared fucking baby, Linda. But also, I'm 40 years old, so time to feel the fear and do it anyway. And stop letting the scare. You know what? Maybe it's okay to let the scared baby ride the bus as long as like the strong, in control, chasing the dreams is also riding the bus hand in hand. You know? Because again, I don't know how to stop letting fear and scared in, and that's not the point, right? The point is we're never gonna not be scared, and we're never gonna be ready. So today I just kind of wanted to talk a little more openly about my stuck little messy life, you know? About all the things that I just held back. All the ways I stopped chasing my dreams because I was scared. And all the ways going forward that I refuse to do that. I have made a list of things I plan to explore while I promote this podcast and where I see where it goes that are kind of interesting. They are things that I have been scared to do. They are things that I have let fear drive me away from. And maybe, just maybe, sharing those journeys publicly, bringing people on that have something to contribute to those journeys, that will really give me some excitement, that push, that passion. I've already seen such a big change just by recording like podcast 3, by sitting down with some guests, by outlining, like I have a couple of exciting guests that will be coming up just within like the first month of this podcast going up. They have incredible stories to share. And I really think that this will be a tremendous platform for them to help explore what's kind of like got in them. So none of us are 5 years finished, solidified professionals, spit and polished. And, you know, we've lived this that was the point. Because I don't know what I'm fucking doing. And I don't want to be talking to people that know what they're fucking doing, right? Which sounds crazy. But there's something to us not knowing what we're doing that will really help all of us figure out what we're doing. Which probably makes no sense. And this is why I probably shouldn't be rambling. But God, it feels good. It felt good to be like, all right, we've got the first couple of scripted podcasts out. I'm going to talk a little bit about how you became the homeless author and, you know, all the pivots that you've made and why you wanted to do this. And now you're just going to get up there with the little microphone and you're going to be like, I've been a little scared baby and I've let fear run the bus. And I've missed out on a lot of tremendous things in my life because so. And I don't know what that podcast is going to look like. And I don't know what I'm going to say. And I'm going to ramble a whole lot. And I'm going to talk a lot with my hands. And I'm going to pull up this sex doll because poor Linda on the floor over there. Linda played a lot into where I started an adult boutique once upon a time. Like, I forgot to mention that. Like, that, I was scared. I didn't want to, like, invest. I didn't want to promote. I really wanted to write some crazy stuff. Then I was scared nobody would read it. And like I created this area of my life where I needed people to read my stuff to pay my bills, or I needed to give up what I'm working on and go get a 9-to-5 and go back to school. And that was scary. And that was scary, not in a way of letting fear ride the bus, but that was scary. Like, are you really ready to give this up? Like, well, I'm burnt out and I'm tired of being an entrepreneur and I'm blah, 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 blah. Okay, but are you really ready to give up everything that you're building and this audience that you've made and this passion and these dreams that are inside of you because fear's riding the fucking bus? Like, enough, please. Get out of the driver's seat. So, yeah. Get out of the fucking driver's seat, fear. Wow. Whole lot of rambling today, guys. Whole lot of rambling that felt really good. Hearing my voice come back over Spotify, like again, I don't care if 10 people fucking listen to this. This moving into this area of my life is about doing all of those things and no longer having any of it depend on whether it pays my bills. Doing these things because I want to, doing these things to say that I can. Like hearing my voice over Spotify, knowing that I have my own podcast now, crazy, incredible. I was like on cloud 9 listening to it. Like that's me. And I can use that to share so much. And I can use that to help, and I can use that to grow, and I can use that to entertain. Or I can use it to talk to myself and ramble. I don't know, you guys be the judge. All right. This felt really good. This felt like unsticking myself from like this layer where I'd been stuck and scared, and shows me that like this is going to be a lot of fun. So if you listen this far, thank you. I am really excited to share in my next episode a little tidbits of some of the guests that are coming up. And we're going to jump into how being stuck can affect your sexual love life. So that should be fun. No filters here. Getting rid of them and letting strong confidence and sexual empowerment drive the bus, while the scared baby also sits with a hand on the wheel. Tell me about some of your scared baby moments. Come on here and be honest with me. Is there something that you've given up in your life that was really hard? Is there something that you're fighting for in your life that's really hard? And either or because you let fear drive the bus? How can we stop letting fear drive the bus for you and let it sit with you while you unstuck yourself from the passenger seat and put your hand on the wheel? Chat soon, guys. Author Chris McIntyre, ladymackxo, and that is a wrap on episode 4 of my very first Let Me Ramble to You with Late Nights with Lady Mac Sticky Unstuck podcast.